Good afternoon. There we go. Good afternoon. Welcome to the October 12th, 2023 Commission meeting. We'll start with introductions of the dais.
Chrissy Rischel, Assistant Clerk.
Leslie Hervey, Clerk to the Board.
Stephanie Summerall Dumas, Commissioner.
Good afternoon. I'm Commissioner Denise Treehouse.
Jeff Aludo, County Administrator.
Charlie Annis, Prosecutor's Office.
And I'm Hamilton County Commission President Alicia Reese. We always start our meeting off with a silent prayer, and we want to give prayer to the tragedy that's happening in the Middle East and to all the families and children that are affected. Please keep them in prayer. Let's take a moment of silence. Amen. Now, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I make a motion to approve the minutes of the previous session.
Second?
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Right, today we have two presentations. If you all don't mind, I was going to advance the proclamation honoring the communications officer, Stephanie Fights, and then we'll follow it with a special domestic violence month. Commissioner Dumas, I'll allow you to lead that part, okay? So we have a proclamation, and it's a proclamation honoring communications officer Stephanie Fights. Am I saying that right? What a name, Fights. Your parents knew.
Oh, Stephanie, it's really
Oh,
good,
you
too.
like the Stephanie.
Yeah.
All right. Whereas 911 dispatchers play a critical role in ensuring that emergency services are swiftly and effectively dispatched to those in need.
And whereas on September 5th, 2023, Communications Officer Stephanie Fights displayed extraordinary dedication and professionalism in responding to a call from a then 6-year-old Helena Cunningham, who acted heroically in the face of an emergency. And whereas Helena, who turned 7 years old last week, exhibited courage and resourcefulness beyond her years by calling 911 when her mother experienced a health emergency. And whereas the communications officer Fights remained calm, reassuring, and provided vital guidance to Helena, ensuring that the appropriate emergency services were dispatched promptly.
And whereas Helena's quick action helped save her mother's life, and Communications Officer Stephanie Fights' compassion, understanding, and empathy significantly contributed to the successful resolution of the critical incident. And whereas Helena was able to meet her 911 dispatcher in person while receiving the 2023 Kid Hero Award in front of her family and first grade friends at Sharonville Elementary School on Tuesday, October the 10th. And whereas Communications Officer Fights has consistently exemplified the highest standards of professionalism in her role as a 911 dispatcher, serving as a lifeline to our community during moments of dire need.
Therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Commissioners, on behalf of its residents and entire community, hereby extends its deepest gratitude and appreciation to Communications Officer Stephanie Fights and all of her fellow communications officers for their unwavering commitment to public safety and their exceptional service as a 911 dispatcher, and proclaims that October 13th, 2023 be known as Stephanie Fights Day in all of Hamilton County. This time I'm going to open it up, Vice President Dreehouse.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. It is our pleasure to honor you, to recognize you. You also look very young. I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but thank you for just having the presence of mind to deal with a child who was dealing with an emergency in her home. I can't imagine what kind of resiliencies that took on your part to figure out how to contend with that and how to make that into a positive situation. So thanks so much for what you did on that day. Thanks what you do every day. And Andy, thanks to the whole team because we know it's a difficult job and we're very, very grateful that you're doing it.
Truly, thank you so much. We love what we do over there, and this is what we strive for in life. So.
Thank you. Will you get some more? You're going to get some more accolades.
Yes.
Commissioner Dumas.
Yes, I was just, when I got a chance to meet you yesterday, and so just how you even related with Helena yesterday, and you are our hero, all of you are our heroes. I went back and listened to the tape again last night. It was remarkable what you and Helena did, so thank you so much.
Thank you for all you do. And Helena yesterday was given the superhero award. So, just thank you so, so much every day, all that you all do, and especially what you did here. Andy, did you want to say something?
So thanks to all of you, to Jeff and Holly for bringing this communications officer for the recognition. It's deserved recognition for her and the entire team. This is one example of thousands that happen every single day at our place, and a lot of the good news. And Lord knows we need some good news in our lives here and there. And I want you to have the comfort of knowing that there are a lot of good news stories that happen every day out of our office, and I couldn't be more proud of the work that they do. And in a situation like this, we're really seeing what the future is of not just the organization, but we're helping the future of society and helping a 6-year-old. Those that absolutely need us to keep an eye on them, but also the future of the organization. So Stephanie is exactly that. She's the future of the organization. I also have with me Amanda Snyder, who is our outreach coordinator. She's relatively new with us, but in the short time she's been here, just about 2 months, I think, she's made contacts with over 20 different public relations events to get our industry and our name, not just the Hamilton County, but the 911 industry out there, so that people know that this is a viable, very satisfying, rewarding career that people need to look at. And it's amazing to me that in these times when we're having such staffing struggles, we need to find the right people that have that right temperance, that right peace of mind, that right ability, as you said, that resilience to be able to focus on the situation and take good quality care of our residents. So we're seeing the future here. Very proud of her. I don't mean to embarrass her, but she was also a product of a cadet program from the Colerain High School and the Butler Tech law enforcement program. So it goes to show that we need to invest in our youth, in the technical schools, in the technical programs, and have them, let's get a hold of them earlier so that I can get them into the workforce pipeline, get them up and running. She's coming up on a 1-year anniversary in November. And if we've already seen such great things from her, there's nothing but the future ahead of her. So Stephanie, thank you. And Amanda, thank you for the work that you're doing. And thank you folks for allowing me to recognize them.
Congratulations. Stephanie, we cut you off. Did you have anything you wanted to add?
Just thank you. Like you guys said, I mean, us at the Communications Center, this is what we strive on, and we love what we do. And yes, it's in emergency situations, but we wouldn't want it any other way.
Awesome. We're going to come around and take a photo and give you your proclamation. Next, we have a presentation, proclamation regarding domestic violence awareness. I'll turn it over to Commissioner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We are recognizing Domestic Violence Month. We've been doing it now for a couple of years. Thank my colleagues, of course, for supporting it. It was a no-brainer, really. October is for awareness, so we're not celebrating it. We're just trying to make everyone aware, so each one teach one, please. And I thought it might be interesting to those who are listening. We're wearing purple, which is the color that is used in October for domestic violence. And I just have a little bit about why the color is purple. And I'll read that now. The color purple represents women who have experienced abuse and violence at the hands of another. Purple represents courage, survival, and honor of women who continue to move forward even though those they trusted the most have failed them. When we wear or use the color purple, we are making a statement, a bold and loud statement. We are saying that we stand beside the very brave women who endure violent and often unseen crimes. When you go purple, you show support and solidarity for women all over the world, in our communities and in our homes. So at this time, I'd like to begin with the proclamation. Whereas this proclamation acknowledges that the Hamilton County Commissioners recognize October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And whereas in 1981, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence began National Domestic Violence Awareness Month as a day of unity to connect battered women's advocates across the country.
Whereas domestic violence affects millions, both women and men, of every race, religion, culture, and status. Whereas much progress has been made since the Violence Against Women Act passed in 1994, this landmark legislation led by then Senator Joe Biden combined new provisions that hold offenders accountable and provide programs and services for victims.
And whereas Hamilton County has made and continues to make strategic investments and policy decisions to support survivors as they overcome physical and emotional abuse, including amending the family leave policy to provide additional leave for victims of domestic abuse, providing funding to nonprofits, including Women Helping Women and the YWCA of Greater Cincinnati that serve victims of domestic violence. And whereas during the month of October, Hamilton County will shine the light on domestic violence by lighting our buildings purple as the color of domestic violence awareness.
Now therefore, be it proclaimed that the Hamilton County Board of Commissioners recognize October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Be it further proclaimed that the Board of County Commissioners of Hamilton County, Ohio, does hereby proclaim October 2023 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month here in Hamilton County, signed by all the commissioners. I'd like for us three to take a picture.
Okay.
Up front, yeah. I'd like to also, though, before we go down, don't forget about sex trafficking, which is a form of abuse. And I've been researching that sex trafficking in Ohio is almost quadrupled since the pandemic. So let us not lose sight of what's going on. So when you're out and you need to watch some of these young people that are with other people, and if they seem uncomfortable or whatever, take the responsibility to just kind of not follow them, but just notice if things are not right. So that's all I had.
Okay, thank you. Well, come on.
Can I just say,
Sure,
so
Vice
I just
President.
want to highlight also, and it's mentioned here in the proclamation, this county has invested in the last few years in two significant programs related to gender-based violence, one being the program we just passed last year, where we are helping groups that teach about dating violence in schools to expand their services to provide that for free in Hamilton County. And the other one is the Divert program that we did. It's been a number of years ago that we expanded that program countywide, where a first responder has the ability to call someone 24/7 from Women Helping Women to try to get an advocate out on scene if it's a domestic violence case, and help the woman and her children. So I appreciate Commissioner Summer Odumishi bringing this forward, because this commission really has done quite a bit in this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Where would you like us to? Yes, I would like to say something. I concur with my colleagues. It's one thing to recognize the months. It's another thing for us to invest in having safe havens for women, children, and even men. And so I like the work that we have done. You've mentioned Divert, you've mentioned the schools, but also the YWCA. I met with Raquel Howard Smith, the new CEO, and my understanding is they're building a new facility that will be a different type of shelter so that families can be together more in a private setting. I know that that's something they want our support on as well. And I think that's moving in the right direction. So I did want to acknowledge the work that they're doing. They're in the middle of this project, I think building it now, in the middle of building that now. So again, this county and region, whether it's through the board or through outside entities, is taking some very bold steps and leader-type steps in making sure that there are safe spaces for folks who are victims of domestic violence. So I wanted to highlight that. Okay, now where do you want us? Okay. We'll take a photo. Okay. All right, so we will move to our agenda today. We'll open it up. Is anyone on Zoom? Public comments? No one on Zoom. We do have one card. Nick Tolbert. Welcome. You have the floor for 2 minutes.
First, I'd like to apologize. I know I come down here looking like this. Reason why is because I have a brand, which I think most of y'all know about it. I don't have to dress in suits anymore. And I tell people all the time, even when I'm down there at Jeff Ruby's, I say, if you want to know who I am, Google me. And that's what I do. So I just want to apologize to all of you that I'm not in a suit and tie anymore, representing all of you. One of the biggest things real quick is my office is going to be sending you a proposal. We're going to go back. We got to go back, man. We got to go back and find out why they celebrated Halloween, Cinco de Mayo, and Mardi Gras. Those celebrations, you can take all three books, the Bible, Torah, and Quran, add them up in history, can't touch them. Can't touch them. They did it for a reason, because they recognize the dead ain't dead. That's why when you go out in front of people's houses, they got skulls out there. It represents the skulls. That's why when you go in a Mexican restaurant, they still got them up there. They recognize the people that passed before us. And so I'm going to be coming down here every week, giving you solid facts how I got the resolution passed by the city to recognize the indigenous people that was here before Columbus. They are the ones that's connected. Just like Alicia Reese was talking about a few other peoples and was talking about the railroad. That's indigenous land. There ain't no place in the country that gets money like that on land. Land gonna always bring you value. So I want to give you the history and the facts why we need to bring that great celebration back that will bring in millions of dollars, because they doing out there on the north side with that holistic festival. Well, that's what they did. Let's bring it back and make some money. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We'll open it up for comments and motions from the commissioners. Vice President Dreehouse.
Thank you. Just have a couple of things today, and some of these things we have all done, so I'm going to highlight them with the fear that you guys might be highlighting them as well, but we can all amplify one another. So we all just got back from the Firefighters Memorial, an annual event that is held near the fire station on the west, it's on the west side of downtown. They always do a nice job of memorializing those that have been lost that were firefighters throughout the county. While it's held in the city of Cincinnati, and we recognize that the city of Cincinnati coordinates the event and organizes it, the firefighters are from all over the county. And so we recognized all of them, honored their memory, honored the service of those currently serving as firefighters throughout the county, and thanked their families. So I did want to mention that it was a pleasure to stand with both of you on the stage and honor the firefighters that were in attendance. Also, I think all of us have done this as well. I met with the Ferguson Group with Zach Israel and Courtney Miller and Ann Centurley put this together. And so these are our federal lobbyists that help us draw down federal dollars for a multitude of things, spanning transportation and stormwater and MSD and all kinds of things. And so this was the first time I had the opportunity to meet them in person, and it was a lively exchange. They're a tremendous resource for us, and I'm very interested to know how we can work together. I know Anson is going to lead the charge, but I think there's real opportunity at the federal level to pull down dollars from the infrastructure bill in particular, and so I'm very excited about what lays in the future for us in coordination with the Ferguson Group. And then also I went to an event over at Adath Congregation up in Amberley Village I attended it was a memorial about what's going on, as you say, Commissioner, in Israel. It was a very somber occasion. There were videos of individuals that are over in Israel and a reminder about how desperate the situation is over there. And then we also memorialized and honored those that have lost their lives in this conflict already. And so, as I say, it was very somber. The Jewish community, though, is one of positive attitude and looking forward. And so while there was a lot of grief in that room, there was also the idea that people will persevere and work together to correct the situation. So it was very emotional, but it was an honor to be there and memorialize those folks who have lost their lives over in Israel. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a few things. I noticed, I was hoping Nick had stayed, Nick Tolbert, as he talked about the indigenous people, because we decided a couple years ago that we were going to honor the indigenous people on that certain day instead of Columbus Day, because as we looked at the history of Columbus, it was not one that we really thought we wanted to honor. So we didn't do it this year, but I want the public to know that we do honor them. We have celebrated them. We have proclaimed proclamations for them. And it's just, I didn't know it was on this past Monday. It's the first or second Monday. But anyway, but regardless of that, we didn't do anything, but we have done something. We have decided not to celebrate Columbus Day. And that we're celebrating Indigenous People Day. So the White House Intergovernmental Affairs weekly call, I attended that, and really nothing is coming out of it. It's a lot of, would you be surprised, chaos going on, but we have that every week, and so I attend that. As I said before, if something significant comes out, I'll share it with the board. My staff actually attended the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. I heard it was great. Fox 19 called about it. I have to sneeze in 1 second. Sorry. Okay, so Fox 19 called about an interview regarding the Inspire initiative. They wanted some good news, and because we oftentimes, of course, don't see that, and I thought they did a great spot. I wanted to thank Fox 19 for taking the time and adding in some of the recipients in that process. So real happy about that. Attended, as I said earlier, at Sharon Elementary School, the 911 Kids Hero presentation, which was awesome. Also talked to Zachary Israel from the Ferguson Group, gave him some of my views as it relates to my vision, priorities of the board and our policy agenda. So looking forward to continuing to work with them. Anson, I thank you for inviting me and setting that up. And then also just attended the firefighters memorial service, which is always very moving. And that's all I have right now.
Thank you. Also attended, that's why our meeting was moved back to 1:30 today, so that we all could be at the firefighters memorial that we do every year, and supporting the firefighters. One of the things, considering that although this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, cancer in general, Hamilton County numbers, I'm told, have gone up. And I want to say that I'm standing in solidarity with the firefighters who many were able to receive some assistance regarding cancer as it related to workers' comp on the job. That is now being, I was told today, that is being challenged in court. And I just want to say that I stand in solidarity with the firefighters in receiving the cancer support. It was a big battle up in Columbus for many years to try to get that, and I am somewhat disappointed that there's a lawsuit challenging it after they were able to get it, challenging it, and it's going into the courts. So I just wanted to highlight that. It's one thing for us to be there with proclamations, but it's another thing to be there in solidarity, and I just wanted to highlight that. So it was very sad to hear that that was happening. In addition, also got a chance to meet with our federal lobbying group, Ferguson Group, when Anson thought it was a very good meeting. Glad we were able to meet face to face, but I also was glad that they were able to come to Hamilton County and hopefully was able to get around beyond our office and our conference room so they could kind of see the work, the needs, and understand when they're in Washington, being our voice in Washington, that they kind of understand Hamilton County. And I was happy to meet with them and also give them some of the climate, because when you think of Ohio on a national level, the first thing folks do is run and say, well, let's get with Cleveland, let's go up north, or let's go to Columbus. And then Cincinnati and Hamilton County area, we get the leftovers. And I wanted to be clear with them that I wanted us to be very aggressive, because I truly believe, as someone who's had to go to all 88 counties more than one occasion for employment, and a lot of stuff we're doing is groundbreaking, and we've got to get it to the White House. We do a lot of thanking when we do our ARPA money. We thank the Biden-Harris administration, but it's time for the Biden-Harris administration to know what Hamilton County has done. And a lot of times when we're there, we're in conferences, so it's every county running, I'm the best, no, I'm the best, no, I'm the best. We need an opportunity to meet with them. No one has a 513 relief bus that's helped over 12,000 people, $90 million in rental assistance and mortgage assistance and all the things that this board has voted on. No one has anything like this. We've got to get to the Biden-Harris administration before we're asking for something to report on what we actually did. And this board has done some remarkable stuff. $40 million in affordable housing, $14 million in small businesses, a 513 mobile unit now, doing business different, getting ready to do 100 stops, 29 plus zip codes. We have done so much. Over $4 million for youth activities, new programs, Beyond Your Imagination and others. we have taken those dollars, stretched them, diversified them. And so it's time for us to have a opportunity to present that, not when you got a conference, when everybody is there, but when it's time for us to get some one-on-one time. All three of us went to Washington when they had Ohio counties there, and Cleveland was already on the schedule to talk. Columbus was already on the schedule to talk. And I remember we took a break, and I went up and I talked to Secretary Fudge. I said, hey, we up here. We're not just here to take a photo in front of the White House. I've done that a lot. Will we get a chance to talk? Because we got some ideas. I think that Hamilton County can be a blueprint for other areas. And most of the counties was getting up. We can't spend the money. We got to turn the money back in. We don't know how to spend the money. So I wanted the Ferguson group to work on repositioning our county. So when you think Ohio, you think Hamilton County, not we're last on the list. So we had some great conversations. I think they've done a remarkable job bringing some money back. They've done their part, but I want to bring back more. I bet if we did a study, Hamilton County, the amount of money we spend and the percentage we get back is very, very low. And most people don't understand, and Congress is different. If you say, I'm not taking the money for Hamilton County, if you're a congressman and you say, I'm not taking the money, that money goes somewhere else. It does not go back to the coffers. And unfortunately, we have had some representation that says, take a pass on Hamilton County. And then our money has gone to Illinois and Louisville and everywhere else. We have not gotten our fair share. So I'm glad we do have some new leadership, Congressman Landsman, and of course, Senator Sherrod Brown has always been fighting for us. But when they jump up and say, we don't want no earmarks, you're giving the earmarks to somebody else. There's no badge of honor. My money went up to DC, and you saying give my money to somewhere else, and that's a problem. So I was happy to share the good things we've been able to do here, and then how can we get more money back here for some of the initiatives that we've had. So I look forward to us putting together that plan, and for us to have be even more aggressive in getting money back. We've got a lot of things that could get more federal money, and we'd like to get more of it. So I think yesterday was a very, very good start. Also, we've got a buy leave, I think, on here for Melissa Weidman. Had a meeting with her yesterday regarding her reappointment to the Port Authority, so that'll be coming up. And it was good to hear, some of her vision as well and experience on that board. So I believe that's on today or either next week. I think it's today. In addition, I went to the NAACP dinner, and I think it's one of the largest they've had. They always have a big crowd, but this one, I think 1,500 to 2,000 people were there. Our House Minority Leader, Hakeem Jeffries, who's also a very good friend of mine over the years, was the keynote speaker. Thought he did a phenomenal job, especially in the times that we're in right now. Looking at, is the government going to stay open? And I think they just, they got rid of one speaker, and now another speaker just went in, I think, a couple hours before we opened up this meeting. But one of the things, Congressman Greg Landsman was also hosting him. We got to go to the Holloman Justice Center, so got a chance to go there. And he also got a chance to see the 513 relief bus. I've been talking about it, and he ended up posting that this bus is groundbreaking. It's never been anything like it and can be a national model. So I felt really, really good about that. He was very complimentary of the work that we're doing here in Hamilton County. So those are my biggest things. I would say, want to just say that the 513 relief bus is at the Urban League on Friday, tomorrow, from 2 to 6 p.m., Reading Road. We will be in Northside on Tuesday, and we are approaching our 100th stop, which will be on the 23rd. So those are the things that I wanted to highlight. I did want to say that I understand that the rental assistance, I got a call on yesterday, which was Wednesday, and there was some concerns about it ending really quickly. And I was a little concerned because I wanted to bring it up to my colleagues. When we were looking at reallocation of funds, it would have been helpful for me to have that information because I would have liked to see it maybe, go a little bit longer. We knew that it'd be sometime in October, but to give me information after we done voted on it and then say it's got to hurry up and be stopped, I just felt that did not allow me to honestly sit down with the both of you. Well, we can't sit down with the both of you, but your chiefs of staff to put the adequate money because I thought we would be able to make the 100th stop. And I was just very disappointed because I think it puts me, when I have lack of information, it does not allow me to accurately do a budget or reallocation because I'm not getting all the information. So I do want to highlight that. I mentioned that earlier. There may be something else coming up because we cut that line item. We cut it down, and it was cut down because I thought we could make it. And then soon as we cut it down, less than 72 hours, now I'm told, now we running out of money. Well, if they would have told me that 3 days earlier, we wouldn't have maybe came in and cut that money out. We put it to some other things that maybe, we could have kept it there. So I wanted to let both of you know, because we can't talk, but I want to let you know in public, I'm going to be looking to try to restore some of that because I thought, my understanding was we would be able to get to possibly through October. And I'm very disappointed about that. And as we going into this budget process, I'm going to say it publicly, I need real accurate numbers. I want to feel as though I'm getting accurate numbers. I feel as though, and this is to all these departments, because it's not the head administration, they only can get what the departments give them. I'm going to tell you now, do not bring me inaccurate numbers, because as we're making decisions about the budget, I can only depend on your information. And you know the deadlines, you know the timelines. You could have sat down with your staff and said, hey, they getting ready to do the ARPA. Here, let me give you a warning. If you cut this $1 million, it's gonna hurt over here. Do not bring me misinformation. These citizens out here, it's okay for us. We getting a check every 2 weeks. We get a check. If our checks do not come in 2 weeks, the administration, everybody, workers are going crazy. We should have that same sense of urgency for the citizens that are out here struggling to make this thing every day. So that's why I get angry when the group homes ain't paid on time. It's not okay. That's why I get angry. This is not about me. I'm getting my 2 weeks check. I'm fighting for the people out here. And we need to know so that I can now if I decide and you give me information, I decide I'm gonna cut the $1 million, that's different. I would have never cut that $1 million if you told me 3 days later, I'm getting ready to tell you you're gonna have to stop in 2 days. That's unacceptable to me. So as we going into this budget, I'm saying I got to have accurate information. I got to have accurate numbers. I got to know how it's gonna really affect the people. And then I can make an intelligent decision. But don't give me something and I pass a budget and then you run it down to my office 2 days later. Talking about, now I got to cut. That is unacceptable to me. We must have proper planning. We must have proper planning for the citizens of Hamilton County. So I just wanted to say that as we're going into the budget process, I can only go with what is given to me, but I must have accurate so I can make planning decisions. We understand, people say, we understand this money was gonna run out one day. I understand that, one day, but I should have a better plan of when that is. Don't tell me tomorrow we running out. You knew we were running out before then. And we had $1 million up there and we cut it and put it to other programs. And I might not have went that way had I known that 48 hours or 72 hours, you'll be running down to my office to cut it off. So that's what I wanted to highlight and I wanted to bring up.
Can I ask a point of clarity? Because
Yes.
when so the ERAP dollars that you're referring to, we had the original, and I don't remember how much that was. I know it was in the millions, the amount of money that we put towards that. And there was a deadline for people to apply for that. My understanding is that the extra money, because we were reallocating what I would call like a waterfall from dollars that weren't spent somewhere else, and these were the ARP dollars, that allocation, I think it started at $1 million. I think it went to 700,000. I wouldn't swear to that. But that was a backstop in case we had folks applying and we didn't have adequate funding in that original pot to pay that rental assistance. So that's my understanding. I am not of the impression that the $1 million went away, but I think it went from $1 million to 700,000. So that's my understanding. I don't know if I don't know, because you're saying something that
Yeah,
went
well,
away.
what I'm saying is, whatever we wanted that money to go to, just you had something you wanted it to go to, and we put some money toward that. The ERAP money was the ERAP money. I mean, that wasn't like, it's like,
No.
the ERAP money, I may have wanted to put some more, just like you wanted to put something towards something, but I didn't get that opportunity. It was at we cut it to 400,000
Is that, yeah, I don't
originally, and I'm the one said,
That's right,
no,
you put more money in.
I wanted more.
That's right.
But no one told me that 3 days later, we getting ready to stop. If I had known that, I might have been able to, at least from my perspective, I would have been able to say, well, hold on, let me look at this again.
Okay.
That's
I just wanted to get some clarity, because
Yeah.
that money, there is money in there to backstop.
Well, yes, the backstop, but I'm saying they're closing out, and I didn't know, and I may have said, hold on, how much it's gonna take to get us to another 2 weeks so that we have time to
I got you.
promote to
I got
people
you.
it's getting ready to go, not just 2 days. So that's my point, I didn't have the information. Now, maybe we might have went the same way, but at least if I had the information, I could have, I might have decided
Yeah,
something else. I
right.
mean, I know I added the $350,000 for a backstop of
Right.
making sure that whatever goes in the pipeline does.
Because the
But I-
deadline is coming.
Yeah, but I never knew that I'm meeting with you today and your deadline is in 2 days. That's the part that gets me. And when I asked, could we do anything else, they said, oh, well, you already reallocated your money. You can't, there's nothing we can really do unless we were going back. And I know to both of you, I always say, well, we just did that. And I would have, if I had all the information. That's where I'm at on it, the information part. Commissioner Dumas?
Yes, I know we added money as a backstop for the ERAP program. Holly, you're here. Can you, do you have, I remember seeing that table. And I also remember you saying a couple weeks ago, well, I don't know if I want to stop it that quick. We didn't, and I remember you saying that. I'm going to see if Holly can tell us what we put in there for the backstop purpose.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
Commissioners, yes, we put in $701,000 in ARPA for the backstop for ERAP dollars.
Okay, I thought it was some, but I wanted to say, as it relates to stopping this program, I am in total agreement to stopping it, and as soon as possible. I'm still running into people who put in applications in May and have heard nothing. And when I run into them, I contact Director Patton right away. But I think that to continue taking applications and giving false hope, and it'll be 90 days out, at some point we need to stop. And so, and when we stop, then we direct our people that are in need to other resources. But I am in total agreement with stopping it as quickly as possible.
Well,
That's all I have.
I disagree.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I disagree. It's easy for us to say stop because our check ain't stopped. But I'm saying if it's a staffing problem, then that would be like group homes. I want you to stop because we can't pay you. We don't have the staff to pay you. We've had paying problems with not just the ERAP program. We got paying problems with small businesses that's doing it right. So I would disagree with that. I want the maximum amount to help the most people possible. And if it's a staffing thing, then we've got to work on that. But to say because I got a staffing problem, I want to stop you from federal dollars that's gonna help you keep your lights on, keep your water bill paid, keep your rent paid. I don't know if I think if I would have got the information and then we moved it to other programs, we got it going to other programs. So, I would have liked to have gotten that information before I supported all the other programs, which but to just say, to that mom or grandma, the heck with you, we don't have enough people to get the money to you. I don't know. I do know we have a payment problem, but it's not just with ERAP. It's also with group homeowners and others. We've got some other payment issues.
If I can comment, I know last time I looked, we have 6,500 people waiting to get their rent paid. I want to make it very clear that I understand the issue with not having rent and not being able to meet your bills, but as I was saying, we will further them or direct them to other resources, and then in no way am I not compassionate as it relates to that. And I don't even think it's staffing now. I think what happened is the commission wanted to help with the money that we had, and the interest and the applications were overwhelming. And we're trying to fulfill all those requests, and it's just going on and on and on. And at some point, we have to stop it and try to, those 6,500 or 6,700, we have to meet their needs because landlords are not going to continue to wait for this money to come in. But I've seen some ways that he's, as Director Patton has said, he's hired other people to help with it, but the waiting list is so long. How long do we go? I'd like to help the ones that have already applied and have been approved.
Yeah, I think the argument today, or whatever the discussion today, is not about the 6,500. I want them to be helped as well. It's a matter of, for me, having all the information so I can make an intelligent decision. I may not have went a different way, and you all may went a different way, but I want the information so that I can make the most intelligent decision. I don't want something where I guess I'm close in the streets with the people, and there's a lot of help still needed. COVID did not just hit and move on. It's people still hurt. So I want the 6,500 to be helped, and there's still no real plan. What's the date? I want to know that date. But I want these additional dollars so that it doesn't cut off immediately. I think there needed to be promotion of the cutoff and give people time to know that there was a cutoff. That's my point. I just go to bed and wake up, we decided to change our minds. So that was my point, and me not having all the information, all of us got to negotiate. Everybody got something. Everybody got something out of this reallocation. And I think that, also, I deserve at the same time the interest of the people that voted for me. I should have been able to get their needs included, but I couldn't present them on the table because I didn't have this information that was going to hit me 72 hours later. So that's the point I'm making, and I hope as we go into the budget, I want to have all the information so that I can make intelligent decisions and be able to present what I believe is needed. But if I don't know if it's needed, I cannot present it. So I just wanted to highlight that. That was my point. All right, Mr. Aludo, any
Commissioners, and just a couple of brief comments. So on that subject, Commissioners, so we've had a commission office ask for some information about the potential cost of extending the program for a couple more weeks. So we are coming up with that. We'll provide that to the board just so the board has that for its information and can decide accordingly. We've been talking about terminating the program mid-October, but Commissioner Reese, to your point, we hadn't been specific on a hard date. We've just said mid-October. understand that could mean different things to different people. So the key is, and I think all three of you have addressed this, that we have a certain number of people in the queue. That number is a large number. There's thousands of people in the queue. There is a dollar amount associated with those people in the queue. And that number is unfortunately a moving target. It depends upon a lot of different variables. The amount of assistance people are coming in for. We are starting to see more and more people exhaust their eligibility. So what's the percentage associated? What's the percentage of people in the queue that are actually still eligible for assistance? All of which goes into trying to predict how much money we have left. And so we are, it's a bit of a moving target. We're trying to make the best assessment we can on that. But there was a very direct question asked about, well, given the best projections and prognostications we have, what do we think the cost would be to carry this out for another couple of weeks? And we're working on that number as we speak. We'll get that to the board probably this afternoon, just so you have that. So just
Let me ask a question.
Sure.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I've had this conversation with Michael Patton as well, because at some point this program is going to end, whether it's mid-October, late October, it's going to end. And so I think the idea is that we all still want to provide assistance to folks that need it, if they're eligible to get that assistance. And so maybe the idea is through JFS, individuals that can no longer get ERAP because the deadline has run out, the money has run out. There are other assistance programs, though, through JFS that they might qualify for. So maybe that's I think we do need to talk about that and say, it's not as if we don't have assistance programs. We do, and they run through JFS, who is administering this program as well. So I don't want that to get lost here, because I fear that people will say, oh, there's nothing available, and that for some that may be the case, and for some others it may not be the case. So they do need to continue to have that dialogue with JFS.
Yeah. No, you bring up a good point. My point was, what's the plan? I wanted a plan. If we know we're going to end, how are we going to end it? Not go to bed and wake up, we ended it. What's the plan? And even all of us know what the plan is. And then financially, what's the plan? And I'm going to be really clear. Before COVID, I don't want to go back to how it was before COVID. I mean, I didn't like, back in the day, I wasn't around, but I was out there. I don't want to go back to that mentality we had before COVID, the welfare office mentality, come find us. I don't want to go back to that. I want to go to a customer service model. And I think COVID, because of the money we had, forced us to go into a different type of model. But to go back to, we sit in our cubicles and, you call me and I got to get out of here at 4 o'clock and your paperwork gonna sit till I get to you. I don't want to go to that. And that's what it's been years and years and years. I mean, we've got different leadership now, but that's what it's been. And that's what people have said, people have experienced, and I don't want to go back to that. I want to go to a new customer model. These are taxpayers, they don't pay their taxes, they might have hit a hard time. And so we go so quick with them. We don't come up with nothing creative, but when we do business deals, we come up with creative. Business deals go over the amount, we figure it out, we get creative. I want to get creative with the taxpayers, not sorry for your luck, because even when we do business deals, I mean, they're getting government help and they're treated in a business style. But when the citizens get help, they're treated as a welfare style. And so I want a new style. If we were going to get rid of this program, we knew it's going to come to an end, we should have had, here's when it's coming, here's our plan, here's how we're going to market it. 3 weeks out, it's going to end. We would have known that in advance. Not, forget them. It's over. We gave you, we doing you a favor. I don't want that attitude. So I'm more looking at what's the plan. And I agree with you in the part of Vice President Driehaus, and we got some other things that we can promote here. What's the plan? And I'm just not a good person. I'm not about can't. I hate that. We can't do this. We can't do that. And this can't be done. Give me something we can do. And all I was saying is if it was mid-October, whatever, here's the plan. In mid-October, we're going to get it on this one. I thought it was be ending probably, after the 23rd, the 100th stop or whatever. I thought that's what we were gonna do. We had been planning and getting ready for it, but now we get you got 72 hours and it's out. It doesn't give us time to even get the word out, So that's kind of what I was thinking. I don't want nobody in the pipeline. I'm one of the number one people saying, where is these people's checks? I don't know how we got this pipeline. We had a system that we were paying, and we had a lot more people applying because we had a lot more money at that point. So I'm just looking at a plan. And I feel like there's nobody willing to be creative on this, but we're creative when it's a business deal. We can be creative. We can come up with some. I'm just asking, can we get creative? Can we stretch it? Can we not stretch it? I don't know. But I just asked to be creative. So I know there's other programs, as the Vice President Treehouse mentioned, that we might flip over to. What's the plan? How do we flip over to it? What's the eligibility? How do we get the word out? Those kind of things. Taxes gonna be due in January. We got a program. How are we gonna get it out? How do we help the people? What's the need? I wanna put the money where the need is. So that's why I asked, but I can't do it unless I got all the tools. So that's what I'm concerned about. What's the plan? And I think, so we're in agreement with that part. And that's what I've been asking. Not putting it all on you, but I'm not putting it on you, Jeff, but I've said this to you before. What's the plan? I know you can send us what the money's gonna be, but what's our plan? And kind of, we're all on the same page.
Understood. And to the question that's been thrown out, I think intuitively here, in terms of as we move forward and as we, regardless of when it is, move off of ERAP, there are other tools out there. There's, in particular, I know Director Patton has talked with offices about transitioning to other JFS tools, the Prevention, Retention, Contingency, or PRC funds, which are cash assistance for many of the same purposes that the ERAP is eligible for when there are children in the home as well. So there's that and some other things that we'll be looking to package as well that'll be part of the plan moving forward that we'll certainly brief the board on. So,
yeah. But if we can't make payments now, even if we move with a different program, we still have a pipeline. So we need to, if the answer is we want to cut it because we got a pipeline, then even if you get another program, you got a pipeline. And I'm trying to figure out, is it the money or is it the staff?
Yeah, and it's a good question. So let me just try to clarify that. So we have had a queue. We have had people in the pipeline for, going back probably into the spring, maybe even in the beginning of this year. But so it's not necessarily a staffing issue, although staffing relates to the amount of time it takes to get the people through the pipeline. But at the end of the day, we've got a certain amount of money, and we have not yet spent all that money in the ERAP program. But when you account for the people in the queue, and we account for the percentage of people in that queue that are likely to be eligible, the thought is at this point we are darn close to spending all that when you highlight or when you factor in the number of people that are in the queue and the percentage that are probably going to be eligible. So then the question becomes, if you believe that at this point in time, the number of the people in the queue are going to take you to the end of the program, the full amount of ERAP dollars spent, how much more will it take to get us a couple more weeks on top of that? And that's what we're trying to come up with right now.
Okay. Because last time we stopped early.
We did.
And we had money left.
We paused a little bit early. We had money left, and so we're trying to
you don't want to do
factor in that ambiguity as well right now as we move forward.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Can I make a comment?
Yes,
about
Commissioner Dumas.
I remember Director Patton coming in a couple weeks ago, and he gave a plan. I thought, as a matter of fact, I remember complimenting him on the plan as it relates to when they were going to cut it off. And I think that's when I remember you saying, we don't want to do it too soon. So I do remember that, and I thought, we can look at the recording, but I thought he said the 15th. I may be wrong, but one thing I want to say, not specifically on the date, but the fact that he had a plan on how he was going to move forward. And I just wanted to say that since he's not here, and that was a couple weeks ago, that we need to stop and what the plan was going to be. So
Thank you. Well, you can send us the plan on the PRC, and does he have enough staff? Because I don't remember we talking about staffing in PRC. So, but I wanna, I'd like to see that. And I don't remember that date, because I know I would have said no, because we're going
You
with
did say no. You said
100 stops.
Yeah.
Oh, I said no.
You said, I don't think I want to stop that, because you called him up to see what the
that
date
date?
was.
Oh,
Yeah, and you said, I don't know if I want it that quick. I do remember that. Yeah,
Okay. I'll still say that, I guess.
yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see, just a couple of other things, commissioners. Just as the board was talking about domestic violence earlier, also just the board has been very proactive on the issue of domestic violence, and the board and the commissioners individually highlighted a lot of the different things. One thing that just wanted to throw out also from Job and Family Services perspective is we have for over a decade now, I think, contracted with YWCA for on-site domestic violence assistance when there are children's services families that are involved. So that on-site service by YWCA has been something we've been doing for a while, just to support especially children that are in families where there has been domestic violence. So just another way that the board is putting its foot forward on that particular issue. We do have a couple of by-leave items in your packets today, commissioners. I think there are three. Commissioner Reese, I'll defer to you on the board appointments if that's something that you wanted to bring forward.
Yes.
In terms of other items, we have by-leave item number 1. This is designating a list for the Local Initiative Support Coalition to apply on the county's behalf for Lead Safe Ohio programming for Hamilton County. There's dollars available at the state that we can pull down to implement this program. Anson Turley has been working on it on our behalf. We wanted to work through LISC for this to be a little bit more nimble and have us be able to draw these dollars down more nimbly, quicker, and get them out the door quicker. But I will turn it over to Anson for a brief summary of this item and any questions, and then we can move forward. Anson?
First, I want to start by saying that the Ferguson Group were equally impressed with Hamilton County. Not only the policy initiatives that you all put forward, your commitment to supporting the county, but also the professionalism and how tied in the administration was. That's department heads, the administration. So they're eager to work with you on getting federal funds.
Awesome.
So Lead Safe Ohio, this program is going to allot $5.3 million in grant funds that can be used for renovations in order to actually affect households in the county. We think that with the current budget and working with LISC, we can affect approximately 115 different households. Now, this is to protect children from lead. The reason we chose LISC is because their mission kind of parallels our own. They want to build resilient communities, and they want to use us as a partner. And they have the knowledge, they have the expertise, and they have the ability to get this money on the street to get this positive effect for residents as quickly as possible, because these are ARPA funds. And because they're ARPA funds, that means that we have to have them obligated right now before the end of 2024. And they have to be spent before 2026. So the administration feels, in talking it over, that this would be the best way to get these funds to have this positive effect in the community and to protect children from lead.
If I could just tag on to that, talked with the board offices about it. This is the item before you today allows LISC to apply for the funds on our behalf. There will be another item coming forward that's kind of an MOU, if you will, between us and LISC that will talk about kind of the rules of the road, if you will, in terms of how they're going to do this for us. There have been questions about making sure that it is detailed as a Hamilton County program, that this is the Board of County Commissioners putting this money out there. We'll make sure that's tied up into the MOU. So there's another item coming. I just want to make sure the board is aware of that.
Right. This will be advertised as a Hamilton County program. LISC is just the administrator of it.
Thank you. I'll open it up. Vice President Drees.
I'm happy to support this. Thank you.
Commissioner Dumas.
I think it's great. We've needed this a long time ago, but I'm looking at the amount of households, 150 households with $5.3 million. What's the average cost we think we may spend in each household?
So the grant requirements say that we have a maximum of $50,000 per household.
Okay.
Now that doesn't include, I mean, that includes all of it. So that includes the administrative cost for intake, program management costs. Now, you can take 10% off for like other outside indirect costs, but that's to administer the entire program for a residence. Now, you may be able to get more. Let's say the house doesn't need the total $50,000, and we would move that funds, and we would actually, increase the number of households that we could service.
So 50,000 is the max, and I'm thinking of these old homes that the remediation is, this is great. But I'm just hoping that we're able to, some of them may not need as much, as you were saying, the maximum is 50, but I'm thinking about a whole house needing remediation.
Well, you have to realize too, there are only certain renovations that are eligible for the program.
Okay.
So if a house was built before 1978, and it has wood windows and wood doors, you don't need to test it for lead. We're going to presume that it has a lead problem.
Okay.
Now, that would go for the replacement of the wood windows and the doors, the soffits, the fascia. It would also cover any supportive measures that need to be taken. So if you replace the windows and the doors on a house, but it has a leaky roof, then you're not accomplishing what you need. So you could actually take some of that money and put on a new roof on the house.
Okay.
But it's going to depend on a case-by-case basis.
Sure, yeah, okay. Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you. I think this is very good. As indicated, my issue was making sure that as we do these projects, that they are branded appropriately as the Hamilton County program, powered by LISC, and that there is a phone number, some type of marketing materials. So if anyone contacts our office, we have a hotline, if you will, that would allow us to be specific to these particular programs. So I know that'll come forward in the MOU, but I did want to just highlight that. I think it's very important. Did you have another question?
Yeah, I do have, what about like schools? Can we go in, we have to have a single-family household or?
So the HUD guidelines, actually a single-family household includes up to a 4-family.
Okay.
But it can also be used in child care, congregate care facilities.
Great.
And also, just basically anything that deals with child care, but the limit for that is $100,000.
Okay.
We wanted to start out first with the residents because, again, we have this timeline. We want to get as much money committed as possible.
Right.
But congregate care facilities are also allowed to apply,
good.
and we want to help them as well.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I have.
Sorry, Vice President. Okay, I make a motion to approve by leave 1.
Second.
Commissioner Reese?
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse?
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas?
Yes.
Okay, by leave number 2 and 3 are appointments to the Hospital Commission and also to the Port Authority. I'll open up if you have any questions.
No, I'm happy. So the Hospital Commission, as you can see, we're appointing a number of different people there. They have been having a very hard time getting quorum. And so I'm glad that we're moving on this one. This has been a long time coming. And the Port Authority with Melissa Weidman, she is a great addition to that to the board. I think she was appointed 4 or 5 years ago, and has really good perspective on what's happening on the ground in the community. As you say, has vision about how the port should conduct itself and where it should go. So I'm very happy to support both of these. And I do want to, the chiefs of staff obviously were the ones that got this together since we don't talk to one another. So I just want to thank Kevin Time, my chief of staff, for helping put this together.
Okay, the names: Deidre Ballon, Kathy Crane, Ashley Glass, Dr. Wayne Lippert, Fakiri Raja Hall, I might have messed it up, sorry, Tyler Ward, Mary Welsh, and those will be for the Hospital Commission. We still have 1 position open for the Hospital Commission. And then we have Melissa Weidman for the Port Authority. Commissioner Dumas, do you have anything on that?
Just wanted to comment, I'm glad that we're filling these positions, that's all.
All right, and thank everyone who has been willing to serve. Okay, I make a motion to approve by leave 2 and 3.
Second.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Alrighty, moving to the calendar. Item number 1 from the engineer's office.
Thank you, Madam President. Todd Long for the record. Item 1 today is a resolution transferring a portion of Howard Road, beginning at Lee's Creek, northward Lee, and to the east, about 2,375 feet of roadway to Harrison Township system. That will make this transfer, if approved, Township Road. The Township trustees have attached a resolution in support of this particular infrastructure. County Engineer's Office made improvements to this roadway segment in anticipation of the transfer. So I'm here to answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, I'll open it up. Vice President Dreehouse.
No questions.
Commissioner Dumas.
The zero. Why, how did we come with the zero on this one?
The zero is simply because there's no dollar amount being transferred, no cost to the county. In fact, it'll be the maintenance responsibility of Harrison Township in the future.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item number 1.
Second.
Commissioner Reese,
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2, Mr. Ludo?
Turn this quickly over to Assistant Administrator Chrisman to talk about our community revitalization grant with Springdale.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This is, I believe, the final 2023 Community Revitalization Grant to come forward. This agreement is with the City of Springdale, who will use the funding for sidewalks to fill gaps between existing sidewalks along North Lynn Boulevard. This will provide better mobility and connections to all of the many employment centers within the city and region. And the grant amount request and agreement is for $304,800.
Thank you. I did have a question. I had asked Mr. Ludo, you may have to answer. When the sidewalk gaps and connecting it with transportation, and I know Mr. Darrell Haley also came forward talking about some infrastructure for sidewalks for the bus stops. Do these overlap or do they complement each other? How does that work?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can find out.
Oh, you're looking into it. Okay. All right, I'll open up Vice President Dreehouse.
I'm delighted to have this rolling through and looking forward to, assuming that we keep it in the budget, more revitalization grants going out in 2024. Because I know the communities are extremely grateful for this funding because it so helps catalyze projects in all the local jurisdictions throughout the county. So thank you, Holly, for all your work on it.
Commissioner Dumas.
Thank you. I was also going to repeat what Commissioner Dreehouse just said when you said this is our final one for now. And I'm hoping that we can continue it in our next budget. So that's all I have.
Thank you. I think it's important we have aging infrastructure in the different municipalities. And certainly the municipalities are looking to revitalize the areas. And I think we need to continue to assist in that way because we are one Hamilton County and we don't want to go to one area and it's looking great in another area, no investment at all. So I think this grant program allows for all of the municipalities to have an opportunity to be able to revitalize and move their economic development forward. So thank you very much. I make a motion to approve item 2.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse.
Yes.
Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Move to the consent agenda. Mr. Ludo.
Thank you, Commissioners. Relatively short consent agenda. Item number 3 on your agenda is an assessment of $1.36 upon certain parcels in the Miami Conservancy District. The board does this every year as the number of properties in the Aquifer Preservation District might change. So the dollar value of the assessment might go up a little bit or down a little bit. This year, I think it's down. I think last year it was $1.43, but these are for properties that are served with aquifer preservation services directly by the Miami Conservancy District. Item number 4 is a budget adjustment. There's some additional retirement payments so that we can make all the retirement payouts we have this year. There are some Court of Appeals security cameras that are being installed, data cabling here in this building. The engineer has an appropriation to assist with the stabilization of a landslide on Clough Pike. or prevent landslide on Clough Pike. And then there's a jail diversion grant to probation in there as well. The total budget adjustment is $1.966 million. We have 3 items for Job and Family Services. We have a consulting contract with Legal Aid for the Kids in School Rule Program at $1.268 million. There is a independent living services agreement for $400,000 with Kelly Youth Services, and we have an independent living services aftercare agreement with NECO for $49,999. We also have a request for authorizing to travel at the county's expense. One employee from the engineer to Columbus, Ohio, one employee from the coroner to San Jose, California, another employee from the coroner to Salt Lake City, Utah. And that is your consent agenda today, Commissioners.
Thank you. I'll open it up. Vice President Driehaus.
No questions.
Commissioner Dumas.
I had one question, Jeff, on item 4, the $700,000 retirement payouts. If I can get a list of who those people are and how many they are, that would be great. That's a lot of money. I'm sure they've been here for a while, but.
Sure, yeah, we can get you some more detailed information on that. And typically with our retirement payouts, we set them out in the budget at a certain amount, and then we adjust it later in the year based upon what we're seeing. So we'll get
Sure.
data on this.
Okay, thank you. That's all I have.
That's all you have? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve and accept for the records, item number 3 through 8.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.
Vice President Driehaus, anything? Nope. Commissioner Dumas, anything?
Nothing.
I just want to remind people that early voting has started. You can go to our Board of Elections to actually early vote. If there's nothing further, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Commissioner Reese.
Yes.
Commissioner Dreehouse. Commissioner Summer Dumas.
Yes.